I'm Helen Taylor, and I worship at St Mary's in Fordingbridge. I'm also chairman of Fordingbridge Flower Club. And this afternoon came about because Laura saw one of my arrangements which I had done for the winter exhibition in St Mary's Church, and she thought what lovely foliage I had used. The next step was to ask me whether I would consider doing a demonstration, and I said, oh my goodness, I think I want to ask my friend, my fellow flower arranger, Janet Newman. And so here we are together today to do a demonstration for you.
Well, as Helen said, yes, I'm Janet, and Helen and I have been friends for many years, and we both worship at St Mary's Church in Fordingbridge. Both members of Fordingbridge Flower Club, and I actually was a founder member in 1975. We started Fordingbridge Club out of it was a flower festival we were doing in St Mary's, and a few of us got together and decided we needed to start a flower club. As you can see, Helen and I have both got the same container, but we're going to do different styles of arrangements in them. Helen's going to do what we call a front-facing arrangement, which is a triangular shape, and I don't really know what I'm going to call mine until I start doing it, but I'm going to do it to maybe go on a coffee table or a sideboard. Now Helen's going to use flowers, I'm just going to use foliage and accessories. And let's wait and see how they turn out.
As Janet said, mine is going to be a traditional triangle, but the most important thing before you begin in flower arranging is to have your mechanics. Now that is a dish that's inside, and this is Oasis or green foam, which I believe is biodegradable. And then we fix it firmly with Oasis tape. And with a bit of luck, it won't fall out. So I will begin by putting in some points of the triangle. So I can have, this is Mahonia. Everything is from my garden, which I am so delighted about.
So you've stopped Trevor cutting it back then, Helen, have you? So that you've got foliage.
I have, yes. He has been known to be a little overzealous.
Yes, we do know.
And the other thing is to have the point. It should really be 1.5 times the size of your container. But forgive me today if this is a little short. This is some lovely myrtle.
The thing is, Helen, rules are meant to be broken.
Yes, they certainly are.
Definitely.
So I shall just continue making my triangle shape.
Helen said about the Oasis. Yes, it is biodegradable. Now Helen's is green and mine is brown. They have just changed back to green Oasis, so it's good that we've got the choice of both. Now for my arrangement, I'm going to keep my Oasis fairly low. First of all, I've got to cut the shape because the container inside is narrower at the bottom than at the top, and hopefully mine will wedge in. Here we go, this is a technical term, shove it in, and mine has wedged tight, so I don't need the Oasis tape as Helen has, because mine's staying low and long. Right, so I'm going to try and now create my shape. I picked, again, this foliage has come from my garden. Again, I have a husband that likes to tidy up too much, and any flower arranger will tell you that's the worst thing that they can do. We love them to go wild, the shrubs, and so that we can cut. I also have a husband who loves bedding plants. Now I say, what can you do with a bedding plant in flower arranging? Not a thing. So we do have, shall I say, discussions over this matter, and I've allowed him to have tubs of bedding plants. I don't allow him to put it in the garden, Helen, because as I always say, you can buy flowers, you can't always buy the foliage. So to me, foliage is far more important than flowers. Right, so this is the beginning of my shape. Now, if I whiz my turntable around, I'll probably knock myself out, but this just gives you an idea of the shape that I'm going to create. So my Formium tenax, and you'll be very proud if those that know me, that I actually know the name of it, because we're not known for, knowing the Latin names, are we, Helen?
No, I said that that's something we would not be sharing.
No, definitely not. So I'm building up the outline of my design with these Formium leaves, and I'm going to fill in them with what I would say sort of more architectural foliage mine is. Mine's not fussy foliage. Mine today is more what I would call solid foliage, with a little bit, as you'll see at the end, of lightening up the design. How are you doing, Helen?
Yes, coming along. I'll just turn it round a little. I've been using some holly, which is not prickly but variegated, and also this is tree heather. It is now 7 foot tall and I love it. I just love the lime green, which picks up the variegation in the holly.
Coming round, Hal, coming round. All right.
So it's beginning to take a bit of shape.
So I'm going to put tiny little fatsia leaves that I found on one of my shrubs today. But I'm going to do that diagonal. So I'm bringing the same plant material across the design, not out from the design. So hopefully it will give a little bit more interest. That's the one thing with flower arranging. Everybody's got their own taste, but you're always hopeful that what you do will please people. I always say you're hoping to please people, but I think the most important thing with flower arranging is you've enjoyed doing it yourself. Doesn't matter what it turns out like, does it? You've enjoyed doing it yourself. And that's what we try to encourage. So there's my fatsias going that way. And then I picked some small begonia leaves, which has got the same colour tone as the Formiums. So I'm going to do them that way. So they come across the other way. I do like fatsias. I do like begonia leaves. I think they give weight and body to a design. And as you can see from me, I'm used to weight and body. So I think that's probably why I like them. And I'm grouping these at the moment in threes. Now possibly you know in flower arranging, 3, 5s and 7s, but to be perfectly honest, that's gone out the window
They
now,
don't
isn't it?
do that these days, do they?
No.
It always used to be.
But so there are my begonias going across that way. This is what you call a dangerous arrangement. I've come to the conclusion that you could truly knock yourself out with. Because these Formiums really are sort of pedestal size, to be perfectly honest. So I'm cutting them down. And when you cut them down, just do them in a point at the bottom so that they'll go into the oasis. And then I just slightly fold them up so that they'll go in easily. So I'm going to do 3 this way and then 3 out the other way.
So as you can see, I too have used fatsias. They do bring some depth, and also the other thing in flower arranging is to have plenty of different textures. So that's why we try and choose as much as we can in different foliage. The other thing is, when you're looking at an arrangement, is to look straight through and make sure that you've got some focal point going right through. Your other focal point is going to be here in the center. So I have been adding some lovely pink carnations, which you can encourage to open by just holding them firmly and I put them at the different points of the triangle. I'm now going to bring 2 more down through the centre.
I'll tell you a little story, Helen, about focal points and triangular shapes. This is going back many, many years when I entered the village show at Bremer, and on my comment card from the judge, and I have to say, you do learn from comments cards from the judges. You might not agree with the judge, but you do learn. She put on there, Janet, stand back and look at your arrangement. And I had a triangular arrangement similar to Helen's, and I had 2 white carnations on the same level at the front that actually looked like headlights. And she pointed that out to me, and I've never ever forgotten that. And hopefully I remember not to have 2 headlights at the front.
I'm hoping
So
I'm
Helen
going to
check.
have headlights. And the other thing that we'd like to mention is that our 2 mothers actually started in flower arranging too, and used to know each other very well at Dameron Flower Club. And my mother, and this is something I've never forgotten, is that when I'm doing a pedestal or anything, is Helen, don't forget, it's got to come out, it mustn't be flat. So every time I always make sure I've got these ones that are coming forward as well. So I'm now going to go to a different flower and use some of these lovely blue iris. I'm going to use some of the ones that are not out too fully at the for the height at the top. So I'll start putting them down through the arrangement.
I used to go to Dameron Flower Club as well with my mother, and Auntie Sue, as I always called her. And it got to the point where when we started Fordingbridge Flower Club, and I can say this now, but I ceased going to Dameron because it tended to be older ladies there, and it was younger ones that started at Fordingbridge. So that's when we started Fordingbridge. But we worked extremely closely with Dameron, had a really good relationship with them, and worked together on many things. And that's the thing with flower arranging. You do make friends. And you meet a lot of different people, especially when we get involved in festivals like Winchester Cathedral, Salisbury Cathedral, and Portsmouth Cathedral we've done. So I've continued on while Helen's been doing hers and added some bear grass, because that adds movement to your design. If I hadn't put that in, you think how static and stiff this design would be. So I've done that just to give us a little bit of movement. Now I'm going to put into the centre line, and don't ask me what this is because I haven't got a clue. I had what we called an exotic mixed bunch from my wholesalers with all different foliages and berries in, and I kept these back. I haven't got a clue. You haven't got a clue, have you, Helen, what they are?
I'm afraid
No. I've gone through my flower range and I've not known the proper names for most things. Because I always say there's somebody there that will know. So why bother to learn? But I don't know what these are, but I thought they were really interesting and they would make the focal point for mine in the centre. So again, I'm going to put that one in the centre, and I'm going to put the other 2, and I'm following that line of going across. Gosh. And so it just gives a different line. Her focal points are coming down, straight. Mine are going across. And then like Helen, and I can see Helen's got the same, I've got some small pieces of skimmia, which I'm just going to add in for a little bit of colour in amongst all my foliage. skimmia, I reckon, is
Oh,
one of the
skimmia.
most, don't you?
It's wonderful.
Absolutely.
It's lovely at the moment because
Yeah.
the flowers are not out fully,
No,
and you can use it so much. It's lovely.
it's awful really, but sometimes you prefer a foliage or something that's not out fully
I do.
to use it when they come out too, as I would say, blousy. Sometimes they're too big and they don't fit in the same to a smaller type of arrangement.
So I'm now adding some lisianthus, which are so useful in flower arranging and come in lots of different colours. These are some nice white ones.
Really, you don't have to pay out a lot to do a flower arrangement. I mean, mine's just out of the garden. You can do it in any shape, can't you?
Yes, you can.
You could just add bits that you've got, and it doesn't have to be expensive, because believe you me, last week it would have been expensive to do. With Valentine's Day, it was horrendous, the prices.
You were telling me how expensive the roses were.
Yeah. So I've just built up a low arrangement that is going to knock everybody out in a minute, and I've added those unusual berries, stimia and just leaves. But the other thing that I've got in my stock is Lotus Heads, and I just thought they're so unusual and there's so much interest in them. At Christmas you could spray these, don't you, Helen? You know, it's something you can spray and use gold or silver, but I'm using them in their natural state. Literally just wired them through, and you see, they just add a little bit of interest.
So I think now you can see a traditional triangular shape, which we use in pedestals too, with all the flowers, trying to bring them down through. And I've just finished off with this lovely skimmia, which I think just fits in lovely with the carnations. So I hope you have all enjoyed that particular arrangement.
So my arrangement's totally different to Helen's. Helen's got lots of colour in it, different foliage, the same as I have, but I've gone for non-flowers. So I've added, since you saw me last, contorted hazel, which just gives it again movement, the same as the bear grass does, and the Lotus Heads just gives a little bit of interest. Well, we hope you've enjoyed your time with us today. We've certainly enjoyed doing it because we both love flowers, we both love flower arranging, and we both love passing it on to other people. So if you're interested in joining Fordingbridge Flower Club, please do contact Helen or I, and we can give you the information when we're back on course again. So thank you for joining us, and hope we'll see you again soon.